In recent years, TikTok has become more than just a social network. With billions of users worldwide, the platform sets trends, influences behaviors, and creates viral phenomena. However, amid dances and harmless challenges, there are unexplored dark corners. Profiles with enigmatic videos, coded messages, and unknown symbols appear and disappear without explanation. Some users report strange interactions, while others claim to have been drawn into something bigger, something beyond the screen of their phone. Are these just baseless conspiracy theories, or is there truly a movement operating in the shadows of the platform? Could anonymous profiles, selective algorithms, and videos with subliminal messages be connected to a possible mass indoctrination? Welcome to another night where mysteries never sleep. I am Midnight, and this is 7 Nights. Before we begin, I'd like to ask for your help. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it makes a huge difference in helping YouTube deliver these videos to more people and allowing me to continue bringing this content to you. I'm counting on you. Let's get to the video. Have you ever stopped to think that you might be watched on TikTok? Not by your followers, nor by the algorithm, but by something or someone that shouldn't be there. While millions of people use the platform for fun, there is a hidden layer, accessible only to those who know where to look. And the few who find it wish they had never seen anything. What would you do if, out of nowhere, a strange video appeared on your feed? No dances, trends, or funny lip syncs. Just a dark screen, an incomprehensible whisper in the background, and a message flashing for a fraction of a second. Would you ignore it? Or would you feel that unsettling curiosity to know more? Many who have fallen into this trap had no choice. The moment they interacted, things started to get weird. Let's look at the facts. There is a bizarre pattern in these profiles. They appear without warning, with no profile picture, no bio. Often, their names are just a random combination of letters and numbers, as if generated automatically. At first glance, they don't seem threatening. But then you open the videos. In some cases, they're just images of deserted streets, empty rooms, or people standing still, staring at the camera, saying nothing. But sometimes there's something more. Geographic coordinates hidden in the caption, symbols etched into walls, sounds that, when slowed down, reveal hidden messages. What does it all mean? These videos don't appear to just anyone. Most people will never see them, but some users swear they are targeted at those who need to see them, as if it were a silent summons. And when someone starts interacting, everything changes. Some comment on these videos and soon after receive direct messages from unknown profiles. The texts are short but unsettling. Phrases like, "Have you noticed?" or "There's no turning back now." Would you reply? In 2020, one case drew attention. A user found a profile that posted videos always in the same format, a shaking camera, heavy breathing in the background, and the cryptic caption, "You are already here." Some users started looking for clues and discovered that this name was linked to a real sect, operating in small, isolated communities. But before anyone could investigate further, the profile disappeared completely. Coincidence? Maybe. But what if I told you this wasn't an isolated case? There are countless reports of accounts following this same pattern. They post for a few weeks, gather a small audience, and then vanish without a trace. No ban notices, no explanation, as if they had never existed. And there's more. Users who tried to expose these profiles reported that their own accounts were suddenly suspended. Could TikTok be covering something up? And it doesn't stop there. Some of these accounts seem to communicate with each other. Observant users notice that certain profiles post videos with numbers or cryptic symbols, and days later, another profile responds with a new code, as if they were pieces of an invisible puzzle for most people. Who is playing this game? If you think this is just an elaborate prank, wait until you hear this. Some of these videos contain strange audio. Sometimes they seem like random noises. But sound editing experts analyzed some of these recordings and discovered that when slowed down or reversed, certain phrases emerge. Short but unsettling messages. "He is watching. Come back tomorrow. Don't trust them. Who is behind this?" Now here's the truly terrifying part. Some people who interacted with this content started noticing strange things in real life. Sounds in the middle of the night, the feeling of being watched. Some even received calls from unknown numbers at odd hours. The creepiest part? One user said that after commenting on one of these videos, they started seeing the same person appearing in different posts on their feed, as if they were being followed. How far does this go? And more importantly, who is behind these profiles? Is it just a psychological game to scare the curious? A social experiment to test the limits of collective paranoia? Or is there something much bigger, operating silently in the shadows of TikTok? The question is, if these videos were truly harmless, why do some people simply disappear from the platform after interacting with them? If there's one thing no one can deny, it's that TikTok's algorithm is eerily precise. You watch a video about a certain topic, and suddenly, your feed is filled with similar content. But what if this isn't just a coincidence? What if the algorithm is being used to manipulate, select, and even indoctrinate people without them realizing it? Think about it. You start by watching an innocent video about mysteries, conspiracy theories, or some obscure curiosity. The next video that appears is a bit deeper, perhaps covering a controversial topic. And then, without realizing it, you're already caught in a sequence of increasingly strange, enigmatic, and dangerously persuasive content. This happens because TikTok doesn't show videos randomly. It learns who you are and what attracts you. And for certain groups, this is the perfect tool for manipulation. Now, imagine this being used by something much bigger. Digital cults, secret societies, groups with hidden agendas. They no longer need to actively seek followers. They let the algorithm do that work. They start by posting seemingly harmless content, something that can catch the attention of a specific audience. But over time, the content changes. Subliminal messages appear in captions, patterns emerge in videos, and before long, that user is completely immersed in that bubble. The question is this accidental or intentional? In 2021, users began noticing something bizarre. Accounts that talked about spirituality, meditation, and energy started suggesting more extreme practices, encouraging social isolation and rejection of family. Some of these profiles were linked to the Love Has Won cult, which was dismantled after reports of manipulation and psychological abuse. But the real question is, if this group was able to use TikTok to spread its beliefs, how many others might be doing the same thing right now unnoticed? The scariest part is that TikTok allows content to be targeted at very specific audiences. There's a setting called hidden niche, used by brands to reach the right people. But what if this were used for something more sinister? A group could program their videos to appear only to certain profiles: vulnerable people, lonely individuals, young people searching for answers. If you've never seen these videos, maybe it's because they were never meant for you. And there's more. Some users claim that after watching certain videos, they started receiving strange recommendations, as if TikTok was pushing a specific narrative. Others say that even without interacting with this content, they began seeing more and more similar videos. But what happens when someone reaches the end of this trail? What exists at the final level of this hidden algorithm? The answer may lie in the testimonies of those who tried to leave. Some users who spent months consuming this type of content said that when they tried to stop, they simply couldn't. Their feed kept delivering the same themes, the same creators, until suddenly their accounts were banned or the videos began disappearing, as if the platform was trying to erase the traces of those who had gone too far. Which leads us to the main question: who controls what you see on TikTok? Is the algorithm really just suggesting random content, or is something much bigger being orchestrated behind the scenes? And if you've already entered this trail, how do you know if you can still get out? The idea of cults has always been associated with hidden temples, charismatic leaders, and secret gatherings. But what if I told you that today, all of this can happen without anyone ever leaving their home? Recruitment no longer takes place in physical meetings. Now everything happens through screens. And a platform like TikTok, with its unpredictable algorithm and global reach, could be the perfect place for this kind of silent operation. The most well-known and documented case is that of Love Has Won, a cult that used social media to spread its doctrine and attract new followers. Its members posted seemingly harmless videos about spirituality and well-being, but over time, the message became more extreme. Isolation, blind obedience, and the idea that the group possessed knowledge that no one else had. In the end, the story ended tragically, with the cult's leader found dead and the group dissolving. But was that the only one? Here's the problem. These groups don't appear as cults right away. They don't say, "Join us." Instead, they make you believe that you found them on your own. You watch a video about an intriguing concept. The next day, another appears on your feed. Over time, the message starts to change, but subtly, almost imperceptibly. By the time you realize it, you're already inside. TikTok facilitates this process like no other social network. In older platforms, such as forums and closed groups, a person had to actively search for a cult. But on TikTok, the content comes to you. This means that anyone can be recruited without even noticing. Children, teenagers, adults. You could be scrolling through your feed right now and, without realizing it, watching the first video of a carefully planned sequence. One of the most common methods used by these groups is emotional triggers. Many of these videos speak directly to those feeling lost or disconnected from the world. Phrases like, "Do you feel like you don't belong here?" or "What if everything they taught you was wrong?" are used to plant doubt. Then come the answers. "We know the truth. We can show you the way." Sound exaggerated? Not for those who have already fallen into this cycle. The most sinister part is that some of these profiles don't even try to hide their intentions. There are videos with hidden symbols, coded messages, and even challenges to test the loyalty of viewers. Users have reported receiving strange missions, such as spending hours without talking to anyone, repeating certain phrases before sleeping, or even following specific profiles without questioning. But what happens when someone completes all the steps? Most of these profiles disappear before their true purpose can be understood. Some are banned, others simply stop posting. But some users say they received private messages asking them to continue the journey elsewhere. TikTok may be just the entry point, but where does it lead? And more importantly, how many of these digital cults are operating right now at this very moment without anyone realizing it? Not all of TikTok's secrets are available to just anyone. While some enigmatic profiles appear and disappear without explanation, others operate differently. They don't want to be discovered by everyone, only by those who deserve to enter. Private profiles with no public videos, no visible followers, yet hiding something much bigger for a select group. What happens inside these accounts? Few people truly know, but those who have gained access report something unsettling. These profiles seem to be used for secret communication, spreading messages that can't be seen by just anyone. They follow a strange pattern, selectively accepting only certain users. The criteria? No one knows. Some say it's enough to comment on the right videos. Others claim you must pass some kind of test first. What lies behind these closed doors? The strangest part is that these profiles don't usually appear in searches. You can't simply type in a name and find them. Many only discover their existence when they receive an invitation, a follow request that appears out of nowhere, without explanation. Anonymous profiles, often created the same day, catching your attention with a simple button, accept. But who has the courage to click? There's one specific case that became well known in digital investigation forums. A user reported that after commenting on a strange video, they received a follow request from a nameless profile, just a string of indecipherable symbols. Upon accepting, they found a completely empty feed. No posts, no interactions. But then, after a few minutes, a video appeared. A recording of a deserted road, with distorted audio and the caption, "Are you ready?" This user tried to screen record it, but before they could do anything, the video disappeared. Shortly after, the profile that had sent the invite also vanished. The next day, their TikTok account was banned without explanation. Other users who had similar experiences reported that after being accepted by these accounts, they began receiving private messages with vague instructions. Some told them to be alert at certain times. Others sent strange links that led to non-existent pages. But the strangest part? Some of these messages seemed to predict things that hadn't happened yet. The question is, who is behind these profiles? Are they just ARGs, alternate reality games, created by anonymous users? Or are we dealing with an organized group, carefully selecting people for something much bigger? If these profiles truly exist, then the final question is even more disturbing. What if one of them has already found you, and you just haven't noticed yet? Sometimes, the scariest thing isn't what you see, but what goes unnoticed. And on TikTok, there's a specific type of video that hides in plain sight. Have you ever watched a video and felt a strange discomfort without being able to explain why? As if there was something there, something invisible to the naked eye. Well, some people believe this isn't just a trick of the mind, but rather intentional manipulation. The internet is already full of cases of subliminal messages in media, but on TikTok, this takes on a new level of complexity. Unlike movies or commercials, where hidden messages are easier to detect, TikTok operates in a much more subtle way. The videos are short, fast-paced, often with frantic cuts and peculiar background sounds. This means hidden messages can be inserted in mere fractions of a second, without the viewer consciously noticing. But the subconscious does. Several users have reported finding videos that seemed normal at first glance, but when paused at the right moment, revealed something disturbing. Words appearing for a single frame and vanishing. Strange symbols hidden in shadows or reflections. In some cases, faces appearing where they shouldn't be. The problem is that when they try to watch again, the video is already gone. And it's not just images. Some of these videos contain sounds at frequencies barely detectable by the human ear. Techniques like binaural beats and audio inversion can be used to induce certain mental states. There are reports of people who, after watching these videos, felt nausea, headaches, or even changes in how they dreamed. TikTok has already admitted to using artificial intelligence to optimize video reach. But could someone be manipulating this technology for a darker purpose? In 2022, a user went viral after posting a video claiming to have found an account that seemed to be sending encrypted messages through visual and auditory patterns. According to them, the videos featured images of abandoned places, interspersed with quick flashes of unknown faces and a distorted soundtrack in the background. When they slowed down the audio, they heard a whispering voice saying something that sounded like, "Keep going." But keep going where? And here's the most bizarre detail. They weren't the only ones seeing these videos. Other users began reporting that they too had received similar content in their feeds, even without ever interacting with anything like it. As if TikTok itself was pushing it toward a specific audience. And the question is, why? But perhaps the scariest part is what happens to those who try to investigate further. Many of the people who attempted to expose these accounts claim to have been suddenly blocked, without any explanation. Profiles analyzing this content started getting banned, and in some cases, the very videos containing evidence simply disappeared from the platform. Which leads us to the big question. If these videos are just coincidences or pranks, why is someone trying so hard to erase them? They appear out of nowhere, post enigmatic videos for a few weeks, and then disappear completely. No ban notifications, no explanations. Just the emptiness left behind. Those who try to look for these profiles later find only a non-existent page, as if they had never existed. But here's the strangest part. Some people swear that, just before vanishing, these accounts seem to be trying to say something. It's not unusual for profiles to be deleted on TikTok. Whether due to guideline violations or the creator's own decision, accounts disappear every day. But some of these deletions raise too many questions. Profiles that never posted anything offensive, containing no nudity, violence, or hate speech, simply cease to exist overnight. And many of these accounts had one thing in common: strangely coded videos filled with subliminal messages and hidden symbols. The most intriguing case involved a profile called The Hidden Voice, which emerged in 2021. For weeks, this account posted short videos that, at first glance, seemed like random recordings of abandoned places. But observant users noticed a pattern. In each post, numbers flashed quickly for a fraction of a second. When someone finally managed to piece them all together, they formed a set of geographic coordinates. The problem? The location pointed to a place in the middle of nowhere. Before anything could be investigated, the profile vanished. But that wasn't all. Any mention of The Hidden Voice started disappearing from TikTok. Comments discussing the account were deleted. Videos from users trying to explain the story were removed for guideline violations, despite containing nothing explicit, as if someone was doing everything possible to cover up whatever it was. The phenomenon of disappearing profiles didn't stop there. Users began noticing that some mysterious accounts followed a very specific cycle. First, they appeared out of nowhere, with no followers and no interactions. Then they posted videos that, while enigmatic, seemed to be building a hidden narrative. Over time, they started gaining curious followers. But the moment people tried to decipher the messages, the account was deleted. Why? Another unsettling detail. Some users who followed these profiles reported receiving strange direct messages before they vanished. Nothing too clear, just short phrases like, "You've gone too far," or "Now you know." What does that mean? Who is behind these messages? The strangest part is that, in some cases, these profiles returned days or weeks later, but with a disturbing detail. They were never exactly the same. The name was slightly different. The video style was almost identical, but something felt off. As if someone was recreating the accounts, but couldn't replicate them perfectly. If this happened just once or twice, it could be a coincidence. But there are hundreds of similar reports across forums and online communities. Mysterious profiles that disappear before any answers are found. Accounts that seem to be replaced by slightly altered versions. Something, or someone, is erasing these clues. Which leaves us with the question, what were these accounts trying to reveal before they were erased? Not everyone who engages with these strange profiles on TikTok simply watches the videos and moves on. Some users claim that after interacting with certain accounts, something changed. Small details in their daily lives started feeling wrong. The sensation of being watched, strange notifications on their phone, unusual dreams. But what's truly frightening are those who, after diving too deep into this rabbit hole, simply disappear from social media, and in some cases, from the real world. Reports of these callings vary, but they always follow a pattern. It all starts with the discovery of an unusual profile. The user becomes intrigued, starts watching the videos, searching for hidden messages, and before they realize it, they're already involved. At a certain point, the videos seem to start speaking directly to them. Some say they received cryptic private messages, while others swear that certain profiles started following them right after they interacted with this content. There is one particularly disturbing case documented in online forums. A young man who used TikTok just to watch mystery content started receiving strange videos on his feed. He hadn't followed any new profiles, yet the videos were there. At first, they were just images of abandoned places and snippets of distorted audio. But after a few days, the messages became more direct. One of them said, "Are you ready?" Intrigued, he decided to reply by commenting on the video. Less than an hour later, he received a direct message from an anonymous account. The message was short, "Come see for yourself." Moments later, the video disappeared. A few days later, the young man's profile vanished completely from social media. No new posts, no explanations, just silence. This wasn't the only time something like this happened. In another case, a young woman reported that after spending hours analyzing suspicious videos and trying to decipher hidden codes, she started noticing strange things around her. First, notifications for messages that, when opened, simply disappeared. Then, sounds outside her house at night. Enough to make her walk away from TikTok completely. But the most disturbing part? Before deleting her account, she received one last message. "Do not be afraid." Could this all be just a coincidence? Maybe. But the frequency of these cases raises a chilling question. Were these profiles really just playing with people's imaginations? Or is something deeper happening? After all, if this is just a game, where do those who play it to the end go? Every day, new mysterious profiles emerge on TikTok, leaving subtle traces that few notice. Videos that seem harmless, messages that go unnoticed, and patterns that only the most attentive can spot. But the lingering question is all of this just a product of chance, or is something larger operating in the shadows? Is the algorithm really out of control, or is someone using this tool for something much more sinister? Perhaps we will never have the full answer. Perhaps the profiles will continue to appear and disappear, always one step ahead of those trying to understand what's happening. But one thing is certain, the deeper you dig, the more questions arise. This story is just one piece, and one day, maybe you'll see the entire puzzle. If this made you think, subscribe, like the video. This helps the channel grow. Don't forget to share it. After all, more voices mean more discoveries.